Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Gossips 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Will Dylan come Forrester Creations' new Luna? The Bold and the Beautiful's trials for coming week show Steffi telling Dylan at Forrester Creations, "If there is anything I can do to help, I will." In the coming exercise, an agitated Dylan tells Will and Electra, "How stupendous would that be? You, Will, and me working in the same structure. Hold on a alternate." Did Steffi offer Dylan a job at FC? Is Dylan poised to come Forrester Creations coming Luna Nozawa? Will Dylan come FC's coming Luna on The Bold and the Beautiful? The Bold and the Beautiful suckers have been wondering what's going on with Dylan, Sydney Bullock. First, we learned that she's homeless and living in her auto. Also, Will, Crew Morrow, and Electra, Linnea Grace, offered her a room above the Sandhouse garage until she's suitable to find an apartment. Electra was visibly uncomfortable when a thankful Dylan embraced Will for his hospitality. We next saw Dylan watching Will as he poured on the yard. We can see where this is heading, and we have formerly been down this road. Will Dylan come hung up with Will, just as Luna Lisa Yamada was obsessed with him? Likewise, did Steffi offer Dylan a position at Forrester Creations? What kind of position would that be? We know Dylan has cultural capacities, but she did not go to Design Academy to study fashion, as far as we know. So, will she be offered the kind of externship that Luna had when she first appeared on BNB? Whatever job it is, Will and Electra do not look veritably happy about it. Electra will presumably be keeping her eye on Dylan ever since she embraced Will. But what possible reason could Will have for being dissatisfied about Dylan being his colleague at FC? Is he formerly picking up strange vibes about her? Is Dylan going to be paired with RJ? Now that we are getting a new RJ Forrester, Brian Nicoletti, on The Bold and the Beautiful, it's enough egregious that he'll be working at FC. So, is he going to be paired with Dylan? Did the BNB pens mislead us into allowing that Dylan is going after Will, when in reality she's going to come interested in RJ? If that is where this plot is headed, also it sure feels like Dylan is the new Luna since RJ was involved with Luna for months, and look at how that turned out. That was back when he allowed. She was a sweet-minding person. Poor RJ really loved Luna. He does not need to fall in love with another youthful woman who turns out to be a cold thoroughbred killer. How can FC go to hire Dylan if they could not indeed go to keep Deke on the payroll? How can Steffi, Jacqueline McInnes would, extend a job offer to Dylan when she told Hope Annika Noel that FC could not go to keep Deke on the payroll? We know that Deke was let go because Steffi and Ridge, Torsten K., hired Thomas Matthew Atkinson and Zen Delon de Metz to be the contrivers for Hope for the future. Now let's get commodities straight. Indeed, though we have been hearing a lot of talk on BNB about nepotism being the reason for that, let's be fair. Thomas and Zend each have way over a decade of designing experience under their belts. Hope for the Future was most successful when Thomas was its head developer. Either Forrester Creations was innovated by Eric Forrester, John McCook, and his woman, Stephanie, Susan Flannery. Thomas and Zend aren't only Forresters. They're Forresters who have devoted times to their craft, which means they've every right to work there. Some of the BNB characters have been throwing the word nepotism around in poke-happy fashion, when in reality Thomas and Zend have earned the right to design for HFTF. But the problem is, if FC could not go to offer Deke at least an entry position design position, which would have been a good fit for him since he just graduated from Design Academy, also how can they go to hire Dylan? Whatever direction Dylan's character takes, let's just hope RJ does not end up getting the short end of the stick again, however, and also she turns out to be mentally unstable and dangerous like Luna was. Also we've to wonder what the point was in bringing him back, just to put him through the same Luna-esque hell if he and Dylan come a couple. We want better for RJ this time. He is a nice Joe, and nice guys should not always finish last. At first it seemed like Steffi Forrester was just being nice. She was standing in the Forrester Creations design office looking at Dylan with a smile. She said, "If there is anything I can do to help, I will." This sounded like she just wanted to help Dylan. On The Bold and the Beautiful, things are never that easy. Steffi Forrester said she would help. You have to wonder what Steffi Forrester really meant by that. So in the preview, Dylan was really happy and excited as she said to Will and Electra, "How great would it be if you, Will, and Dylan were all working in the same building?" Dylan thought this would be a cool thing for Dylan and her friends, That one sentence changed everything for me. It was like a wake-up call. The sentence was so simple. It had a huge impact on my life. That one sentence changed everything. It made me see things in a totally different way. I will never forget that one sentence because it changed everything. Fans were not just looking at a young woman who needed help anymore. They were seeing the start of something that reminded them of Luna Nozawa. This was another story about a person from outside. The Forrester Creations world is a place, but it is also very glamorous. This young woman was complicated, had a lot of emotions. She was now a part of this world. That could cause problems for the younger people in the story. The relationships between these people were already fragile, and this new person could make things even worse for Forrester Creations. The question now is not just whether Dylan gets a job at football club. It is also about what will happen to Dylan if he does get the job at football club. The main thing is whether Dylan gets a job at football club, and what Dylan will do at football club. The real question is this. Is Dylan going to be the Luna at Forrester Creations? I mean, think about it. Dylan is going to have a role at Forrester Creations, and we all know what happened to Luna. So is Dylan about to become Forrester Creations' next Luna, just like Luna was a part of Forrester Creations? A troubled arrival. From the moment Dylan appeared on the canvas, Dylan's story was full of weakness. Dylan was not a lady with a lot of money. Dylan was not a Forrester with a family name. Dylan was not a stable person. Dylan was homeless, lived in her car. She had few things that belonged to her, and she just wanted to keep going. Dylan had a desire to survive, and that is what kept her going. Will Spencer and Electra Forrester saw that she was in a spot, and they decided to help her out. They said she could stay in the apartment above the beach house garage for a while. This was a nice thing for Will Spencer and Electra Forrester to do. Like we see on The Bold and the Beautiful, even when people are trying to be kind, things can get complicated. The Bold and the Beautiful always shows us that doing something for someone can have unexpected results. Electra was the person to notice something was going on. She saw how Dylan was always hanging around Will. Dylan was really thankful to Will. It showed. She looked at him a lot. Then something awkward happened. Dylan stood there and watched Will take a shower outside on the patio. Electra saw the way Dylan looked at Will. It made her feel weird. The way Dylan watched Will was just not right. That was not an accident. That was not just being curious. That was the problem with the way Dylan wanted people to see him. Dylan had worked hard to make people think of him in a way, but now there was a flaw in that image of Dylan. The girl who was really sweet and struggling did not seem innocent now. She was a girl who had been struggling and was very sweet. Now she did not seem that innocent. The sweet and struggling girl just did not seem innocent anymore. Echoes of Luna. People who have been fans for a time could not help but notice the similarities between the two. The parallels were really obvious to longtime fans. Luna Nozawa came to the place as a very hard-working intern. Luna Nozawa was a person. She was also very creative, and Luna Nozawa felt things very deeply. Luna Nozawa became friends with RJ Forrester. Everyone started to trust Luna Nozawa. Then something strange started to happen, and the truth about Luna Nozawa came out. Luna Nozawa was obsessed with things. Luna Nozawa was not a person, and Luna Nozawa was capable of doing some really scary and violent things. So when Dylan started to show signs that he was getting too attached to people who watched him could not help but feel really uncomfortable. Dylan was getting this feeling for Will, and it was making people feel weird about Dylan and his feelings for Will. This was another case of a lonely girl who was developing a crush on someone. The girl was really lonely. She developed a crush. The lonely girl had a crush on this person. Or was this the beginning of another dangerous obsession? Steffi's offer. Kindness or mistake? Steffi Forrester is used to dealing with tough problems. She has been through kidnappings and shootings and people betraying her and fighting over business. Steffi Forrester knows that people she does not know can be very bad for her. So why did Steffi Forrester decide to help Dylan fast? When Steffi said, "If there is anything I can do to help, Steffi can do, Steffi will," it sounded really kind. To Dylan, what Steffi said sounded like a chance for Dylan to get what Dylan wants from Steffi. An opportunity at Forrester Creations is powerful. Working at FC is not about fashion. It is about having access to people. It is about forming relationships at FC. It is about gaining influence through the work you do at FC. If Dylan steps into that building every day, she is not just getting a paycheck from the company. Dylan is actually stepping into the heart of the Forrester universe every day. That is where things can get really bad. Will's growing discomfort. This situation is really suspicious. It gets even worse when you look at how Will is reacting. Will's reaction is what really makes you wonder what is going on with Will. Dylan was really excited when he talked about working with Will and Elektra. Will did not look happy about it. He did not look proud of Dylan for working with him and Elektra. Will looked like something was bothering him. He looked uneasy when Dylan talked about working with Will and Elektra. Why? Will has a feeling that something's not right. He can tell that something is off with the situation. Will is getting a vibe from this and it is making him uncomfortable. The whole thing is making Will feel like something is wrong. He has noticed the stares. The man cannot see people looking at him all the time. People always stare at him. He has gotten used to the stares. The stares are always there. The lingering gratitude. The way Dylan watches him when she thinks nobody is looking at her, it is really something. Dylan watches him. You can tell she is very interested in him. The way Dylan looks at him is very special. Dylan is really paying attention to him when she thinks nobody is watching Dylan. Will may not really know what is going on with his feelings. He has a feeling that something is off. His instincts are telling him to be careful. On the show, bold and the beautiful people's instincts are usually right. Elektra's silent alarm bells. Elektra does not need to rely on instincts. Elektra has something better, which is evidence that she can use to make her decisions. This evidence is what helps Elektra, and it is something that she can trust, unlike instincts which can sometimes be wrong. Elektra has evidence. That is all she needs. She saw Dylan cling to Will. The woman noticed that Dylan was holding on to Will tightly. Dylan was still clinging to Will. The woman felt the tension in the air. It was the tension that she could not ignore. The tension was something that the woman felt deeply. The woman saw what happened in the shower incident. She was there when the shower incident took place. The shower incident is what she saw. Elektra is not being paranoid. She is just being protective of the people and things that matter to her. Elektra wants to make sure everything is okay. That is why Elektra is being so careful. When you are protective in the Forrester world, it usually means that Forrester is about to face competition from other companies. Forrester has to be careful because Forrester is going to have to deal with businesses that want to take Forrester's place. Elektra knows what it is like to lose someone's attention. She understands that people can get really close fast. Can be hard to know what is okay and what is not. Elektra knows that Dylan is not just thankful. Dylan is really attached to Elektra. That attachment can really become an obsession. It is like the more you have of something, the more you want it. This thing called attachment can turn into a blown obsession. The RJ factor. Things were already really complicated. Now they are even more complicated because RJ Forrester is back. A new face. A new start. A new chapter. It is clear that RJ will be working at Forrester Creations. RJ is Eric's grandson. RJ has a lot of ideas. And Forrester Creations is the company that RJ is supposed to take care of because it belongs to his family. Specifically, Forrester Creations is RJ's legacy. So where does Dylan fit into all of this with the people and things that are involved in the situation with Dylan? Some people who watch the show think that the show is trying to trick us on purpose. The show might not be planning for Dylan to be with Will all. Dylan might actually be meant to be with RJ. Of Will. The storyline of Dylan could be going in a different direction with RJ. If that is true, then the comparison to Luna becomes even more disturbing. The Luna comparison is really something that's very unsettling when you think about it. The more you consider the Luna comparison, the more it bothers you. RJ already had feelings for Luna. He really trusted Luna. He had a lot of faith in Luna. RJ suffered because of the way he felt about Luna. The writers really want to put him through that? I do not think the writers really want to put him through that. The writers must be thinking about what they're doing to him. Do the writers really want to make him go through that again? Dylan's artistic talent. There is a mystery about Dylan's qualifications. What are Dylan's qualifications? That is what everyone wants to know about Dylan's qualifications. Yes, she is an artistic person. The woman has a lot of talent. I think the artistic side of her is really cool. Yes, the woman is very creative. Has this woman really learned about fashion? Deke Sharp went to design school. That is a fact. He got the training he needed. He was ready to do his job. Forrester Creations did not have enough money to keep Deke Sharp working for them. So how does Dylan suddenly fit into the budget? If Steffi offers her an internship, it feels really similar to how Luna started. This is like a foot in the door for her. She gets a chance to prove what she can do. The internship is a job that brings her closer to the people she really cares about, like Steffi. This is a deal for her because it is a Steffi internship. The danger is really there. This is where the problem starts with the danger. The thing that is bad is the danger. The money problem. Steffi said to Hope that Forrester Creations could not afford to keep Deke. Steffi explained to Hope that Forrester Creations did not have money to pay Deke. I do not think they can afford Dylan. How can they possibly pay for Dylan? The cost of Dylan must be really high. I am wondering how they will manage to pay for Dylan. This is not a question about business, it is a problem with the story logic. The story logic is the issue here, not just the business side of things. The story logic is what is causing the problem. If Dylan is hired, this means that Dylan will be working with the company. Dylan being hired is a deal because it shows that the company likes Dylan. If Dylan gets the job, then Dylan will have a lot of things to learn. Asterisk, the company must think Dylan is a fit for the job. Asterisk, Dylan will be a part of the team and work on new projects with Dylan's coworkers. The fact that Dylan is hired says a lot about what the company thinks of Dylan. The budget excuse was selective. Emotions had an effect on the situation. The emotional influence was a part of it. Emotions really played a role in what happened. Dylan's position is not a job that he gets paid for. These options can cause problems, make people feel uncomfortable. Any of these options create tension between individuals. The show Bold and the Beautiful really works with tension. Tension is what makes Bold and the Beautiful so interesting to watch. Bold and the Beautiful is a show that does a job of keeping people on the edge of their seats with all the tension it has. Nepotism versus earned legacy. The debate around Thomas and Zend wasn't just about favoritism. It was about experience. These people have been training for a long time. The athletes have been training for years. These people have built their careers. These people have earned their place. Dylan has not. This makes her sudden rise to fame feel really suspicious. Her sudden rise is something that feels suspicious to me. The way she rose to fame quickly makes her sudden rise feel suspicious. Is the woman getting help because the woman is talented? Maybe it is because she is emotionally connected to the right people. This is probably why she feels that way about the people. The right people are important to her. She is emotionally connected to them. The danger of repeating history. RJ does not deserve to have another Luna in his life. The thing is, RJ had a Luna. He does not deserve to have another one. Luna is someone, and RJ does not deserve another Luna. This person really deserves to have a life and get some good things happening to them. The person deserves growth, stability, real love. If Dylan is really unstable, or if he is obsessed, or if he is dangerous, then RJ's return does not feel like the characters are growing. It feels like the story is just going back to the old feelings. RJ's return feels like something new is happening with the characters, and more like the story is repeating the same emotions over and over again with RJ's return. The fans want something for him. They think he deserves something. The fans really want things for him. The show really knows this down inside. The show is aware of it even if it does not say out loud. The show knows it. The bigger picture. Dylan's storyline isn't just about romance. This is about identity. The thing that matters is identity. Identity is what it is about. Belonging. So what happens when someone who has lost everything they had suddenly gets to be a part of a powerful world? This person who has lost everything, they are now in a world, and that is a really big deal for them. The powerful world is full of things. For this person who has lost everything, people who have that job can do one of two things. They can go one way with the people in that position, or they can go the other way with the people in that position. The sun rises. Things can fall apart. They can unravel. Sometimes the threads of the things we make or the plans we have can start to come. They unravel. And on The Bold and the Beautiful, unraveling is always more dramatic.